Welcome, deep divers, to another journey into the really intricate landscape of human experience. And today we're looking at the surprising wisdom hidden within our own bodies.
That's right.
We're zeroing in on something pretty profound, often invisible, really, this lingering shadow of our past. Have you ever felt that your history, maybe a difficult or, overwhelming experience, isn't just a memory?
Right, like it's more than that.
Exactly. Like it's an active, almost palpable force shaping your present right now. Maybe it shows up not just as thoughts, but like a persistent unease.
That knot in the stomach feeling.
Yeah, or tension in your shoulders, or even just a subtle physical thing you can't quite pin down.
It's a sensation I think many people can relate to, yeah.
Sure.
That subtle hum of past events vibrating through the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
The echoes of our past, they can really resonate through our entire being, shaping our responses, even our physical landscape. You know?
Absolutely. So our big question today is, how does trauma actually manifest in the body, mind, and spirit? And what does genuine holistic healing really involve?
Yeah, what does it look like?
To dig into these answers, we're taking a deep dive into the really groundbreaking work of psychiatrist Bessel Kolk. Specifically his seminal book, The Body Keeps the Score.
A hugely influential book.
It really is. And it doesn't just offer theories, does it? It fundamentally shifts how we understand trauma. It reveals that healing isn't just about, intellectually understanding the past through words.
Right. It's not just talk.
No. Instead, it's about this profound reconnection with the self through the body, integrating mind, body, and spirit for a truly holistic transformation. It goes beyond just cognitive processing.
Indeed. Traditional talk therapy, while it's invaluable for many, it often hits its limits when you're confronting these deeply ingrained physiological imprints of trauma. Van der Kolk's research really powerfully demonstrates that the body itself, it literally stores these overwhelming experiences.
It keeps the score.
It keeps the score.
Yeah.
So true healing needs this kind of dual approach, a repatterning not only psychologically but also physiologically, engaging the nervous system directly.
And to really enrich this crucial understanding, we've pulled insights from, a whole tapestry of spiritual, philosophical, and psychological traditions.
In different angles.
Exactly. We're weaving together wisdom from sources like Eckhart Tolle, John Kabat-Zinn, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, Tara Brach, even ancient texts like Theologia Germanica and Musashi.
Quite a mix.
The goal is to provide you, our listeners, with a comprehensive but still accessible understanding of how these profound inner shifts can happen when we embrace this integrated, body-centered approach to healing.
Yeah, making it practical.
We want to uncover some surprising connections and hopefully practical pathways to liberation, guiding you towards understanding how you can maybe move beyond the grip of past experiences and reclaim your full, vibrant presence.
Okay, so where do we start?
So let's begin by grounding ourselves in a specific example from The Body Keeps the Score itself. I think that often makes these big concepts much more tangible.
Good idea.
We're going to delve into the case of Marilyn. She came to Van der Kolk grappling with this overwhelming fear and just a profound sense of disconnect from her present reality.
Disconnected.
Yeah. Her past trauma had woven itself so deeply into her life that it manifested in this constant drive to, and I'm quoting here, dampen or abolish those feelings with alcohol and exercise.
Wow.
Can you imagine that desperate need to escape your own internal experience? It's just a stark, visceral illustration of how deeply trauma can embed itself in daily life.
Absolutely. It unknowingly dictates our coping mechanisms, driving us to extremes just to find some kind of momentary reprieve.
Marilyn's story is incredibly relatable, I think, for anyone who has felt that relentless internal pressure.
Definitely. It really exemplifies how the body, when it's holding onto the score of past trauma, often remains in this chronic state of alert. Or shutdown, even.
Right.
The fear she experienced wasn't just a fleeting thought. It was a deeply felt sensation, a physiological alarm constantly ringing, triggering these automatic, often self-destructive responses.
The alcohol and exercise.
Her reliance on alcohol and that intense, sometimes almost compulsive exercise were her ways of trying to override or momentarily escape these utterly overwhelming internal states. It's really a testament to the sheer power of the body's protective mechanisms, however maladaptive they might become over time.
Right. It's like her entire system, her nervous system was still living in the past, wasn't it? Still perceiving threat, even when her conscious mind knew she was physically safe in the present.
Exactly. That disjunction between mind and body is such a hallmark of unresolved trauma.
So, what were the initial steps then? The foundational steps in helping Marilyn begin to heal, especially using these body-based techniques to bridge that gap?
Well, the initial approach with Marilyn focused on very simple but profoundly effective calming techniques designed to directly arrest that dysregulated nervous system. One of the first was deep, regulated breathing. She wasn't just told to, take a deep breath. She was taught to systematically focus on a specific rhythm.
Like a specific count.
Yeah, in and out at 6 breaths a minute. And the instruction was crucial to consciously follow the subtle sensations of her breath and her body.
Feeling it move.
Precisely. This seemingly straightforward practice is actually immensely powerful for grounding and regulating the autonomic nervous system. By deliberately slowing and deepening the breath, you activate the vagus nerve, which helps shift the body from that fight or flight state
The panic state.
into a more settled rest and digest state. For Marilyn, this was about creating the very first island of safety within her own body, a place to land.
So it wasn't just about relaxing passively. It was an active engagement with her internal experience, almost like, I don't know, conducting her internal orchestra.
Exactly. Precisely. It was about conscious, active engagement. And alongside the breathing, another technique introduced was acupressure tapping,
Like EFT.
sometimes known as emotional freedom technique, or EFT, yeah. This is another physical tool designed to help prevent overwhelming emotional states from completely hijacking the system.
How does that work?
By gently tapping on specific acupressure points on the face and body, it creates this subtle sensory input, and it acts as a means of self-soothing. It can actually interrupt the intense, automatic emotional responses when old feelings threaten to bubble up.
Okay, so it's like a pattern interrupt.
Exactly. These techniques are critical because they often bypass the thinking cognitive brain initially. They directly target the more primitive emotional brain, the amygdala, for instance, where trauma responses are often stored and triggered. They offer immediate, tangible ways to self-regulate when feeling overwhelmed.
That makes so much sense. It's not about suppressing or ignoring the feelings, is it? But about creating a stable enough internal environment, a kind of inner container, to actually approach them without being completely swept away.
Precisely. You need that foundation of safety first.
And that leads us right into the power of mindfulness, which Marilyn then learned to apply. It was about, quote, keeping her mind alive while allowing her body to feel the feelings that she had come to dread. That's a huge, pivotal shift in approach, isn't it?
It truly is. It's a cornerstone of trauma healing, really.
Yeah.
Marilyn's breakthrough wasn't in making the feelings disappear magically. It was in moving from being immediately hijacked by her feelings, where her entire system would just freeze or panic,
Yeah.
to being able to stand back and observe her experience, almost as if from a slight distance.
The observer self.
This is the introduction of what many traditions call the observer self, or meta-awareness, that part of you that can witness your internal states, your thoughts, your sensations, without being completely consumed by them. This conscious witnessing is fundamental for regaining a sense of agency over one's inner world.
So she wasn't pushing the feelings away anymore, but she wasn't being drowned by them either. It's like she was building an internal vantage point, like a neutral observation deck within herself.
That's a great way to put it.
How did that translate into practical, tangible change for her?
Well, this ability to observe without immediately identifying with the feeling allowed Marilyn to gradually gain ownership over her physical sensations.
Yeah.
This was vital
Why vital?
because it enabled her to definitively tell the difference between past and present. The text gives this incredibly powerful, almost heartbreaking example.
Okay.
If someone's leg brushed against her in the night, a seemingly totally innocuous touch, her body's trauma response would immediately register it as a threat, like danger.
Instant reaction.
Instant reaction. But through her practice, she eventually learned to recognize it as Michael's leg from her tennis partner and realize its touch didn't mean someone was trying to molest her.
Wow. That's incredibly vivid, that physical embodied realization that she was a 34-year-old woman and not a little girl. That must have been utterly transformational.
Absolutely. A visceral rewiring of her reality.
It's not just a thought, it's a felt sense of safety and presence in her adult body.
That moment of embodied presence, it just dissolved the suffocating grip of the past. It speaks directly to this idea of creating these islands of safety in the body, establishing physical and internal resources where you can consistently feel grounded and secure.
Right.
Developing self-awareness of the body is key because it's through this intimate, non-judgmental connection that the traumatic past can truly be differentiated from the safe present. It allows the body to finally drop its guard, to feel at home rather than perpetually on high alert in its own skin.
That's the physiological freedom then.
That is the physiological freedom that talk therapy alone often cannot achieve. It needs that body connection.
Okay, so building on Marilyn's journey into self-awareness and presence, let's expand on this idea. Cultivating inner awareness, drawing parallels from some other wisdom traditions. Eckhart Tolle in A New Earth offers a really profound insight here. He emphasizes that the primary cause of unhappiness is never the situation but your thoughts about it. That's a huge reframe, isn't it?
It's a complete paradigm shift, fundamentally.
Yeah. It shifts responsibility from external circumstances to our internal narrative.
It does. Tolle invites us to become acutely aware of the stories we construct in our minds, and to consciously separate those narratives from the actual situation itself. He describes the actual situation as often, neutral.
Neutral? How so?
So instead of getting caught in a spiraling thought like, I am ruined, maybe when you lose your job, he encourages you to stay with the facts.
Just the facts.
Just the facts, like I have 50 cents left in my bank account and I'm currently unemployed. This practice of radical presence, of aligning with the bare reality of the present moment without overlaying it with fear-based interpretations, is what prevents the creation of new unhappiness. It stops the mind from manufacturing additional suffering on top of the facts.
So if we can observe our thoughts rather than identifying with them, we stop our minds from spinning these narratives that amplify suffering. It's like preventing our prefrontal cortex from being hijacked by the limbic system's fear responses.
Exactly right.
It's really about being the awareness behind our thoughts and emotions rather than being swept away by them, which directly echoes Marilyn's breakthrough, cultivating her observer self.
It does. Tolle reinforces this beautifully by saying, rather than being your thoughts and emotions, be the awareness behind them. It's the same principle. It's about recognizing that you are not merely the stream of thoughts and feelings, nor the painful memories, but the stable, unchanging consciousness observing them.
That observer.
That internal detachment allows for emotional regulation and resilience to develop, reducing the brain's automatic threat response over time.
And Jon Kabat-Zinn, in Wherever You Go, There You Are, brings in this lovely idea that meditation is about going inside or dwelling inside yourself. He points out that by consistently practicing this, we begin to realize we contain the entire world in our own mind and body. That sounds like finding a profound comfort, a sense of belonging, and maybe boundless resource within oneself, which seems crucial for someone who has felt fractured by a trauma.
Oh, absolutely crucial. This inner dwelling, it's about finding comfort from being at home in one's own skin, from an intimate familiarity with the ways of one's own mind and body.
Being at home.
Being at home. For individuals healing from trauma, who often feel alienated or even betrayed by their own bodies, this internal reconnection is utterly transformative. When we stop constantly looking outside ourselves for happiness, understanding, and wisdom, we cultivate this deep, unshakable inner resource. It's like building a neural highway to your own inner sanctuary, a place where peace can be accessed regardless of external storms.
That makes perfect sense. Cultivating a deep, trustworthy relationship with your inner self, recognizing it as the ultimate source of stability.
Yes.
And Conversations with God takes this concept even further, doesn't it? Talking about the commitment to living in awareness as a daily, moment-to-moment practice, ultimately leading to total awareness and a profound understanding of who you truly are.
It describes daily meditation not as an escape hatch, but as a path to achieve total awareness and eventually become totally aware of who you are, your authentic, unbroken self beyond the wounds of your past. But it emphasizes this requires commitment, dedication, a decision to seek inner experience, not outer reward. It's a profound shift, moving from seeking external validation or quick fixes to cultivating deep internal wisdom. It's a process of actively rewiring your brain for profound self-acceptance, really.
And the text also speaks to the transformative power of silence, saying that the silences hold the secrets and the sweetest sound is the sound of silence. This is where the true song of the soul is heard, away from the constant noises of the world and, importantly, the chatter of a traumatized mind.
Yes, and this isn't just poetic language. In terms of neuroscience, silence actually allows the brain's default mode network, the part often involved in rumination, to quiet down. This reduction in internal chatter allows for deeper self-reflection and integration.
Ah.
The ultimate goal, as Conversations with God suggest, is for all of life to become a meditation. It's about moving through every moment with mindfulness, not mindlessly, and residing in permanent splendor in the assurance that you are grandly loved. It's a vision of life where sustained awareness transforms every experience, making the present moment a place of profound, ongoing healing.
Shifting gears a bit to a more philosophical lens, Siddhartha's journey in Hermann Hesse's novel also beautifully illuminates this idea of understanding the self for deep healing.
Yes, a classic journey.
He realized that experiencing his self wasn't about capturing it in the net of thought. It wasn't a concept to be analyzed intellectually, nor was it solely the body or the senses. This really resonates with the idea that our true essence, our deepest self, is something far more profound than our transient experiences or our mind's stories about them.
Siddhartha, after years and years of seeking, arrived at this crucial insight that this world of thought was also still on this side, meaning intellectual understanding, while valuable for navigating the world, wasn't the ultimate destination for self-realization or deep peace.
No, it wasn't the end goal.
No. He perceived both the thoughts as well as the senses were pretty things, capable of providing valuable information and experiences, but that the ultimate meaning was hidden behind both of them. He was seeking the underlying ground of being, the pure consciousness that observes thoughts and sensations without being limited or defined by them. For someone dealing with trauma, this means recognizing that your true self exists beyond the traumatic memories and their ongoing impact. You are not the trauma.
So his journey was about realizing that to truly heal and find his authentic path, he had to, quote, obey like this, not to an external command, only to the voice, to be ready like this. This was good, this was necessary, nothing else was necessary. This inner voice, this authentic self, became his unwavering guide.
Yes. Overriding external dictates. And, importantly, the internal chatter of a conditioned, perhaps traumatized mind.
That's powerful.
Absolutely. It's the profound realization that true guidance and the path to authentic healing come from within, from that deep, intuitive knowing, rather than from external doctrines, societal expectations, or even the analytical dictates of the rational mind alone. This inner voice, when listened to and obeyed, leads one towards their unique, most aligned path to healing and self-discovery. It allows the brain to forge new, healthy pathways built on self-trust.
Okay, now let's delve deeper into reclaiming the body, specifically looking at how conscious movement, intentional breath, and cultivating this profound connection to our physical form can be powerful allies in healing trauma.
Getting really practical now.
Yeah. The body keeps the score makes it undeniably clear that there are critical body-brain connections at play. Our brain's basic job is quite literally survival, right? Constantly organizing sensory information to ensure that.
That's its primary directive.
And when trauma hits, it fundamentally changes the very architecture and function of the brain, making these body-based approaches not just helpful, but absolutely critical for rewiring.
Indeed. Trauma doesn't just leave emotional scars, it literally alters the brain's circuitry, especially in areas like the amygdala, which processes fear, and the prefrontal cortex, responsible for executive functions like self-regulation and impulse control.
Right.
When the body itself is holding the score of past danger, maybe stuck in a state of hypervigilance or shutdown, purely cognitive interventions often fail to reach these deeper, more primal parts of the brain.
They don't get deep enough.
Exactly. That's why body-based methods are so vital. They work directly with the nervous system to reestablish a sense of safety, rhythm, and integration. They help the brain to calm its own alarm system.
So revisiting the power of breath, which we touched on with Marilyn, is really important here. It's not just a calming technique, is it? It's a gateway to deeper physiological healing.
Yep.
The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali describe how regulating the exhalation and inhalation of the vital energy, or prajasa, is a direct path to sitavati nirhad, the stilling of the fluctuations of the mind, and therefore a path to steadiness.
Yes, in yogic philosophy, prana is understood as the vital life force, intimately connected to the breath. Consciously regulating the breath is a direct and incredibly powerful tool to influence the entire nervous system and, consequently, the state of the mind. The sutras explain that the practice for continuous, effortless linking of the attention to higher concentration forces is essentially an internal battle within the psychology of the yogi for control of the psyche.
A battle.
A battle, yes. This directly parallels Marilyn's struggle with being hijacked by her feelings. It's an active internal engagement in self-regulation, using the breath as the primary lever to calm the restless mind and the hypervigilant body.
And this inner battle isn't just about managing present emotions, but also about breaking free from the past, right? The idea from the sutras that it's key to disengage the gears of memory from the engine of the buddhi organ to achieve freedom from the chatter and picturizations of the mind, that's profound.
It is.
Can you elaborate a bit on what the buddhi organ is and how this disentanglement works, especially in the context of trauma?
Certainly. The buddhi organ in yogic philosophy isn't a physical organ like the liver or heart.
Okay.
Rather, it refers to the higher intellect or the discriminating faculty of the mind. It's the aspect of consciousness that allows us to discern truth from illusion, to make wise decisions, and critically, in the context of trauma, to differentiate between a past threat and a present-day reality.
The discerning part.
Exactly. Trauma often hijacks this faculty, causing the mind to automatically replay old picture sound shows. These are essentially Saskara's deep, often unconscious impressions or imprints left by past experiences, particularly painful ones. These Saskaras keep the traumatic loop going. The yogi's goal, by disengaging the gears of memory from this discriminating intellect, is to create a void in his own psyche from these distracting, tormenting thought patterns, thereby gaining true self-conquest. It's about disentangling oneself from the mind's automatic playback of past events, allowing the buddhi to perceive clearly without being constantly clouded by the past.
It's like unhooking an old, broken record player that keeps replaying painful tracks even though the party's over.
That's a perfect analogy.
You're not erasing the record, but you're preventing it from continually driving the present experience.
Precisely.
Okay, so beyond breath, John Kabat-Zinn offers this beautiful, practical perspective on connecting with different body regions, each having a sort of metaphorical meaning and a profound impact on our internal state.
Yes, very useful.
He suggests intentionally centering attention in the heart region to strengthen qualities like acceptance, forgiveness, loving-kindness, generosity, and trust. How does this bodily focus actually help us?
Well, by consciously bringing our attention to the heart center, we're not just thinking about these qualities, we're aiming to feel them in the body. This can neurologically reinforce positive emotional states. It's a way of cultivating compassion, not just for others, but crucially for ourselves, especially when grappling with the harsh self-judgment that often accompanies trauma.
Right, self-compassion.
And that's not all. Connecting to the solar plexus, for example, often associated with our gut feelings or intuitive center, can bring feelings of centeredness and vitality as it lies near the body's physical center of gravity. It's a place to cultivate internal strength and grounding.
And then there's the throat region. That's particularly fascinating because it's where feelings can often get stuck, right?
Absolutely. Think about how we say, I have a lump in my throat when we're sad or scared or holding something back. Developing mindfulness of the throat can bring acute awareness to our speech. Its explosiveness, speed, harshness, volume, automaticity on one hand, versus its softness, gentleness, sensitivity on the other. These are tangible, practical ways for you, the listener, to engage with your body mindfully, explore your inner landscape, and potentially release old, trapped emotional energies, making the body feel like a safer, more expressive home.
This sounds like a really powerful way to translate abstract emotional states into concrete bodily awareness and maybe even expression.
It can be, yes.
And while our sources don't explicitly mention, say, trauma-informed yoga, Musashi's The Complete Musashi offers a compelling insight into physical discipline and being present in one's body for mastery, which can be seen metaphorically in this context of healing trauma, right? It's about more than just combat.
Oh, absolutely. Musashi, the legendary swordsman, speaks about how, through rigorous training and present-moment awareness, your body will move spontaneously and nimbly. Your mind will perceive the striking rhythms, and the flow will be instinctively flawless as you have learned to move unrestrainedly with your body, feet, and mind in unison.
Mind and body in unison.
Exactly. In a non-combative therapeutic sense, this speaks to the ultimate integration of body and mind for anyone. For someone healing trauma who might feel disconnected from their body or whose body feels like a source of fear, mindful physical discipline, whether it's martial arts, dance, yoga, even focused walking, can be incredibly empowering.
About rebuilding trust in the body, then.
Rebuilding trust is a huge part of it. Trauma often fragments our sense of self, leaving us feeling disembodied or out of control. Practices inspired by Musashi's principles, where you consciously coordinate your movements, breath, and attention, can help reintegrate those dissociated parts of the self.
How so?
You're developing a sense of agency, safety, and competence within your own skin. Imagine someone who used to tense up automatically whenever they felt unsafe. Through a mindful movement practice, they learn to consciously engage their core, ground their feet, connect with their breath. This isn't just physical exercise, it's a retraining of the nervous system. It teaches the body that it can be strong, present, and safe, even when facing internal discomfort. It's mastering your internal world, much like a warrior masters their external movements, leading to a profound sense of self-possession and resilience.
Mastering the internal world. I like that. Okay, now, let's confront what is often the heart of the matter for many. Facing and transforming emotional pain.
A big topic.
Yeah. Eckhart Tolle, again in A New Earth, offers a deep dive into negative emotions, particularly resentment. He describes resentment as an emotion that adds even more energy to the ego by focusing on others' perceived faults, making those faults into their identity. This suggests resentment actually fuels the problem, right? Creates a cycle of suffering rather than resolving anything.
It's a vicious cycle, yes. It essentially strengthens the very psychological structure, the ego, that causes suffering in the first place. Tolle argues that resenting others often stems not from objective reality, but from the unconsciousness in you, the ego.
Our own unconsciousness.
Yes. By reacting to a perceived fault in another, you actually strengthen in yourself what you react to. It's often a form of internal projection, where our own unacknowledged shadows or pain are cast onto others.
Projecting our stuff onto them.
Exactly. He even suggests that sometimes the perceived fault isn't even there. It is a total misinterpretation, a projection by a mind conditioned to see enemies and to make itself right or superior. This really highlights the internal origin of much of our suffering, showing how resentment can keep the brain's threat response perpetually active, trapping us in a cycle of negativity.
That's a powerful realization that our perception can be a projection, just a story our conditioned mind tells us. Tolle also provides a really helpful reframe for addressing unhappiness directly. Instead of saying, I'm unhappy, which makes it sound like your entire identity is unhappiness.
Right, defining yourself by it.
He suggests recognizing there is unhappiness in me. It's a subtle but incredibly significant distinction, isn't it? Separating your core identity from the transient emotion itself.
It's about acknowledging the emotion without becoming it, without allowing it to define your entire being. He then offers a practical, three-pronged path forward.
Okay.
If action is possible to change the situation, take that action. If not, if the situation is genuinely beyond your control, then you must face what is and say, well, right now, this is how it is. I can either accept it or make myself miserable.
The choice point.
It empowers us to choose our response, shifting us from being passive victims of circumstances or our own automatic thoughts to active participants in our internal well-being. This choice fundamentally alters the brain's response to perceived threats, moving towards acceptance rather than resistance.
And central to understanding persistent emotional pain, especially in the context of trauma, is Tolle's concept of the pain body. This is a really crucial idea for our listeners, I think. Can you explain what that is and how it manifests?
Yes, the pain body. It's defined as an accumulation of old, unresolved emotional pain. Essentially, a conglomerate of past suffering that lives within us, almost like an energetic entity. Its unhappiness is often clearly out of proportion to the apparent cause of a current situation, meaning it's an overreaction fueled by the past. Relatively insignificant things, everyday irritations, become triggers, bringing back to life the old accumulated emotion.
So it gets activated.
It gets activated. For someone with trauma, the pain body is that lingering echo, the residue of past hurts that can be activated by something as simple as a tone of voice, a particular smell, or a fleeting image. It's crucial for understanding how past trauma can linger and create intense unhappiness in the present, often seemingly without immediate rational cause, because it's a reactivation of deeply stored physiological and emotional patterns.
That perfectly describes how trauma can make even small triggers feel overwhelmingly intense. And speaking of confronting difficult emotions, Tara Brach's Radical Acceptance offers such a profound approach to facing fear.
Yes, her work is wonderful on this.
She shares her personal experience, where physical sickness morphed into gripping fear, and her decision to meet, no matter what experience arose, with the attitude of, this too. That simple phrase, this too, sounds incredibly liberating, almost like a counterspell to resistance.
It is the very essence of acceptance, a powerful antidote to the suffering caused by resisting what is. Breck realized that the other side of resisting fear is freedom.
Freedom on the other side of resistance.
Yes. When we stop tensing against life, we open to an awareness that is immeasurably large and suffused with love. This non-resistance, this radical acceptance of what is, creates the necessary space for healing and compassion to emerge, both for oneself and for others. It allows the nervous system to calm down, signaling to the brain that the perceived threat is not as overwhelming as the resistance was making it out to be.
She illustrates this beautifully with Eric's story, doesn't she? Instead of armoring against the fear when his wife was depressed, trying to fix her or push her feelings away.
Which is such a common reaction.
Right. He felt his heart open and could just hold her without trying to fix her. That signifies such a powerful shift, from reactive resistance and problem solving to compassionate presence, transforming not only his inner state, but the very quality of his relationship.
Indeed. Eric's ability to remain accepting, present, and kind in the face of anxiety demonstrates a profound internal shift. It leads to freedom not just from personal suffering, but also enables deeper, more authentic connection with others. This cultivation of an open heart, fostered by radical acceptance, is a pathway to rewiring our emotional responses, moving from fear-based reactions to love-based connection. It ultimately enriches our entire lives.
Michael A. Singer, in The Untethered Soul, emphasizes our profound agency in all of this. He states that the prerequisite to true freedom is to decide that you do not want to suffer anymore.
Decision.
Yeah, this isn't a passive wish. It means making a conscious, active choice to enjoy life and to actively let go of stress, inner pain, or fear. It feels like an empowering, decisive moment, doesn't it?
It's an absolute declaration of intent for your internal landscape. Singer identifies trauma and unresolved pain as inner thorns.
Alarms.
Inner thorns that cause people to limit their lives by constantly trying to avoid feeling them. Imagine navigating your daily life trying to avoid continually stepping on these internal thorns. That avoidance dictates your choices, your relationships, your entire existence.
You build your life around avoiding the pain.
Exactly. The path to freedom, then, is not to meticulously navigate around the thorns, but to simply remove the thorn. This implies a courageous, direct confrontation with one's inner discomfort, a willingness to feel the pain, process it, and release it, rather than letting it continue to define and restrict your life.
And he acknowledges the inner weight, that fear of experiencing pain, anguish, or sorrow that burdens us daily. True healing, then, is becoming free of this constant emotional defense and avoidance, this perpetual guarding against what might arise.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And when you are free of these inner thorns and the constant energy-draining fear of experiencing pain, it allows for authentic connection in all aspects of your life.
Oh, so?
You can then love because you truly love, not because you need to avoid your inner problems or because you're trying to fill an internal void. You engage with people genuinely, not because you're lonely, but because you find them interesting. You truly like them, and you can offer your full, untethered presence. This is the profound shift from fear-driven connection to love-driven connection. It's a state of true internal liberation.
Moving into the deeper currents of transformation now, the journey of deep healing often feels like a dark night of the soul, as described by St. John of the Cross.
A powerful metaphor.
This metaphorical darkness can be unsettling, even terrifying, but he offers this really counterintuitive insight. The greater is the darkness wherein the soul journeys, and the more completely is it voided of its natural operations, the greater is its security. This implies that letting go of old, familiar coping mechanisms, even when it feels disorienting and terrifying, is actually a pathway to greater, more authentic safety.
It is profoundly counterintuitive, but absolutely essential for deep transformation. This dark contemplation is seen as bringing the soul nearer to God, where that which in God is supreme light and refulgence, intense brilliance or radiance, is to man blackest darkness.
Blackest darkness.
It reflects the overwhelming, almost blinding nature of deep spiritual transformation. Our limited human perception, accustomed to a certain level of light, initially experiences intense, unfamiliar divine light as blinding darkness. Perhaps due to our own weakness and impurity, our ingrained resistance. It's a radical surrender to the unknown, trusting that immense good, a profound healing, lies beyond the initial discomfort of dismantling our old structures.
It's like a necessary deconstruction.
A necessary deconstruction of the old self, to allow for new growth. It's a kind of deep neurological rewiring that often feels chaotic before it becomes coherent and integrated.
And Theologia Germanica, another ancient text, speaks of spiritual transformation in really stark terms of the old man versus the new man.
Yes.
The old man is identified with Adam and disobedience, the self, the me, which sounds very much like the ego-driven, perhaps trauma-bound self. While the new man is Christ in true obedience, a giving up and denying oneself of all temporal things. So healing involves a kind of internal destruction and rebirth, where the old man should be destroyed to be born again.
Well, to truly heal from trauma and its enduring grip, the old man, that ego-driven self defined by past hurts, rigid coping mechanisms, the story of what happened to me and the limitations it imposed, must, in a sense, be dismantled.
Let go of.
Let go of. This isn't about forgetting the past, but about disidentifying with the narratives, the neural pathways of fear, and the defensive structures the trauma created. It's about letting go of the need to control, the fear of feeling, and the attachment to old patterns, however familiar or safe they may seem. This creates space for the new man, our authentic, resilient self to emerge, no longer enslaved by the past.
So it's a transformation of perspective.
This spiritual destruction isn't about literal annihilation, but a profound transformation of perspective and internal experience, allowing the brain to forge new, more adaptive neural connections based on presence and authenticity, not past fear.
This concept of spiritual self-conquest is echoed deeply in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, with the yogi's battle for psyche control, as you mentioned.
Yes, the internal battle.
The goal, as we discussed, is a void in his own psyche where his memory does not discharge ideas, which torment the yogi and frustrate his efforts. It's about overcoming the mind's distracting picture sound show to achieve inner stillness and purity of self, which aligns perfectly with the destruction of the old man, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The mind, especially a mind impacted by trauma, can be a relentless generator of noise, replaying painful memories, generating fear-based scenarios. This internal picture sound show prevents true presence and self-awareness.
It keeps you stuck.
It keeps you stuck. The yogi's disciplined practice, much like the path of radical acceptance or mindfulness, aims to quiet this inner chatter, to disengage the saskaras, those deep, conditioned impressions, from dominating the present moment. Creating a void isn't about emptiness in a negative sense, but about clearing the internal landscape of all that is not essential, all the noise, allowing the authentic self to shine through without the distortions of past pain. It's like a deep neural cleansing.
Not just changing thoughts, but fundamentally changing the inner operating system.
Exactly.
And Conversations with God offers this grand, expansive perspective on the whole journey, positioning that we are all God and that we are constantly, every one of us, journeying from knowing to not knowing to knowing again, from being to not being to being again, from oneness to separation to oneness again, in a never-ending cycle. This reframes healing and growth not as a finite destination, but as a continuous cyclical process.
This cosmic wheel perspective, as it's sometimes called, integrates all our experiences, even the most painful and seemingly chaotic ones, into a larger, meaningful cycle of evolution and learning. It suggests that every phase of not knowing or separation, perhaps from our true self, due to trauma, is actually a necessary part of eventually returning to knowing and oneness.
So there's purpose even in the difficult parts.
It offers a profound sense of purpose and inevitability to our healing journeys, assuring us that even in our darkest moments, we're inherently moving towards reintegration and wholeness. It means that setbacks are not failures, but simply another phase in the grand journey of becoming.
And ultimately, this journey empowers us to recognize our own creative force in life. The fifth agreement reminds us that you are the artistic creator of your life. You are the one who creates the canvas, the paint, the paintbrush, and the art. This is a truly powerful message, isn't it?
It really is.
It means we're not just passive recipients of our fate or the score our body keeps. We have agency.
It absolutely empowers you, the listener, to actively shape your healing journey, fundamentally shifting from maybe a victim mentality to one of conscious creation. It implies that even the score kept by the body, those deep physiological imprints of trauma, can be reinterpreted, or new, vibrant strokes can be added to the canvas of your life.
Right.
You are not defined solely by what happened to you. You are defined by how you choose to create from this moment forward.
That's a profound neurological shift, isn't it? From being reactive to being proactive.
Absolutely.
And connecting with that idea, The Artist's Way talks about nurturing and protecting your inner artist to move beyond pain and creative constriction. Healing enables one to recognize and resolve fear, remove emotional scar tissue, and strengthen your confidence. So creative expression isn't just a byproduct of healing, but maybe a fundamental active part of it.
Absolutely. The act of creating, whether it's literal art, journaling, music, gardening, or simply the daily art of shaping one's life with intentionality, builds self-trust and resilience. It's a direct and potent way to process and transform the pain, replacing old, restrictive patterns with new, confident expressions of self. It affirms that the healing journey is a deeply creative one that actively rewires the brain for joy, connection, and empowered self-expression. It helps to integrate those fragmented parts of the self, allowing for a more cohesive and confident sense of identity to emerge.
Okay, so as we wrap up our deep dive into the body keeps the score and its really profound connections to these broader wisdom traditions, we've seen through Marilyn's journey and these other perspectives that healing trauma is truly an active, deeply embodied process.
It really is.
It's not just about analyzing the past with our minds, but profoundly involves our physical sensations, our breath, and our unwavering capacity for present moment awareness. It's about accepting what is right now rather than endlessly fighting what was, and recognizing our power to choose our response to suffering.
And we've witnessed how powerful, simple body-based methods like focused breathing and maybe acupressure, combined with practices of deep mindfulness, can be.
Yeah.
They don't just offer temporary relief, they enable a fundamental shift.
Yeah.
A shift from being immediately hijacked by feelings to owning our sensations and truly differentiating past from present. This journey cultivates that inner observer, allowing us to meet our difficult emotions, those deep physiological imprints, with acceptance and compassion, rather than the exhausting resistance that often traps us in the cycle of trauma.
The profound insights we've explored today really highlight how the willingness to truly feel what's happening in our bodies without judgment or immediate reaction can lead to liberation from the grip of the past. It's a path to finding freedom, not by escaping our bodies or our emotions, but by fully inhabiting them, by becoming utterly present to what is, right here, right now.
Exactly. And perhaps to leave you, our listeners, with a final, truly provocative thought. Let's reflect on that powerful idea from Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, that no matter what happened, man maintained the freedom to choose how to respond to his suffering. If our bodies truly keep the score, holding the echoes of every past experience, that our conscious awareness and intentional engagement with our inner landscape can rewrite that narrative.
We can change the story.
We possess the remarkable capacity to compose a new score, one that reflects freedom, resilience, and a full embodied presence, even amidst life's inevitable challenges. So the question becomes, what score will you choose to compose in the present moment?